So guys, tune into the show. Don't miss it because it's going to be an amazing show. You are going to be touched. You're going to be amazed. You're going to be excited. It's Thursday, 11 o'clock on a Thursday. The Message Talk Show with Alex Gordon. Yes, don't miss it.
Good morning, folks. Good morning. This is your host, Alex Gordon, tuning into the Message Talk Show one more time. Hey, isn't it fun just to get up one morning and think, right, I'm doing something I love, I'm doing something I enjoy. What have you been doing that you enjoy doing, that you're excited about? Aren't you excited just to be alive? Hey, as I normally say, call your friends, call your enemies, get a cup of tea, get a cup of coffee, because we're going to have an amazing time today. An amazing time today. I have a guest in house who's going to blow your mind. This lady is going to blow your mind with information, helping you. You know, we're at that time of the year, the end of the year. We're approaching that time and we're thinking, right, I've done X, Y, Z this year. Did it work? What's going to work for next year? What are my goals for next year? Well, I have a lady in house that's going to help you focus. And when I say focus, she's going to help you focus on one thing that you could be doing in the background, making things happen while you're doing 5 and 6 other things. All right? So stay tuned in. Call your friends. Call your enemies. Call them now because it's the time now for the Message Talk Show. Now, here's what I'm saying about the Message Talk Show. I interview mission-centered and passionate individuals about what they do, about the contribution they're making, the positive contribution they're making in the world. Because I believe with all my heart that it's passion and mission-centered individuals that are changing the world. One person at a time, one job at a time, in their small little places. And that's what I do. I help small businesses, small platforms become bigger platforms. Why? Because there's a message there. There's something there that needs to get out to the world. There's something there that needs to happen to explode. Some of the things you see today that look like multi-million companies, multi-million pound companies, also started very small. So, without any further ado, let me just say welcome this morning to an amazing lady this morning. Good morning, Sabina. How are you today?
Good morning, Alex. I'm great, thank you. What a great introduction. Thank you.
Well, you know, of all the things we do, Sabina, of all the things that we plan to do and are doing in our lives, once you get on that road, you know, it's a roller coaster, isn't it?
It is,
And
absolutely.
for some of the pre-discussions we've had with what you're doing, you're an amazing person. You're an amazing person. Just getting on with it, getting on with it. So today we're going to encourage some people just to get on with it and get out there. So today we're talking about how to start your property journey. Why property? Because why not? Why not property? I think the UK has been one of those countries, and London especially, where guys from all over the world want to park their money. They want to invest their money for maximum return. Why? Because we have a booming housing market. Why we have a booming housing market? Because the demand is there. Am I right, Sabina? There's a massive demand in the UK for property all the time. Is that true?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's correct. I mean, UK is an island, so there's always people looking for properties to live, and the government is not building enough, so there's always a big demand.
Did you hear that? The government's not building enough properties. Is that deliberate, though? Is that deliberate why the government's not building enough? Because therefore it keeps the price at a higher level. Is it true? Hey, so we're going to discover that today. How to start your property journey with Sabina Sunaram. Sabina, what is the one thing that you think that 2021, it's been a difficult 18 months, 24, but yeah, 24 months, right? But what do you think is the most exciting thing that someone could do in 2021, could have done in 2021? What could that have been?
Well, the first thing is no one could have predicted the pandemic. Yeah? Everyone
That's
said
true.
it would be gone in 2 months, in 6 months. It's been 2 years now as we speak. Now, the pandemic, it's a mindset as well, because it depends what we believe. If you believe it's you're a victim of it, people will live as a victim. But then if you take the opportunities around you, there are opportunities around you. I was just reading an article the other day, and there's been more millionaires created in 2021.
Whoa, pause there. Pause there. Pause. See, I told you were awesome. I told you were awesome. What did you say? You said there were more what? More? Say that again.
Millionaires. Yeah, more millionaires and more billionaires that were created in 2020 and 2021 compared to many other years. Much more. The graph is almost exponential, you could say. So
Wow.
some people saw opportunities and they took advantage of it. They didn't look at it as a block. They look at it as an opportunity to do something for themselves and their family. And there you go. If you see opportunity, you spot
Woo.
them, you prepare for them, you get success.
You see? So the most exciting thing you could have done in 2021 is make use of the opportunities that were in front of you.
Correct.
That's amazing. You could have been a millionaire. Well, you probably couldn't have been a billionaire in just in 1 year, but hey, amazing. Sabina says there's loads of opportunities around us. There's loads of opportunities. In the midst of everything we're facing, there are opportunities. So let me just kick off the show today, Sabina, by asking you my favorite 3 questions, Sabina. Number 1, who are you? Who do you serve? And what got you here to where you are today, Sabina?
Okay. Yeah. So, hello, everyone. It's great to be on this platform. I'm so happy to be here today. So, my name is Sabina Sunaram. I live in London. My background is IT. So, I've been a IT project manager for 10 years. And before that, I did my studies in IT. So, I've got a master's in information systems management and computing. But that's not what I'm here to talk. I'm here to talk about property. So, let me tell you how I got here. Now, my journey started about 10 years ago, where I got interested in property. And since then, I've had training. I've done lots of research. I've connected with lots of people, and I've been able to build a portfolio of properties. So although my career is in IT, but I'm also a property investor, and I'm a financial coach as well. I guide people into setting goals and achieving financial goals, investments, and so on. I serve people. I believe that for us to be successful, we need to serve people. When you serve people well, everything else comes behind. The money, the success will come. So I'm here to serve families, no matter what walk of life, because everyone is different. My approach is I look at a person in their own individuality, in their own circumstances, and I serve them based on who they are, what they need, and what they want to do. And what got me here is, for me, I wanted to have a better life for myself. Everyone wants a better life for themselves, but I've realized early in my career that just working will not do that. Working is just enough for bills. To pay our day-to-day bills. So I found out that we need to have plan B, plan C as well. That's why for me, it's important to do other things. And what a better way to do it via property. So that's my reason here. I got here because I want to have a better life for myself, have time freedom, financial freedom, be able to have a better life for myself and my family.
Did you hear that, guys? Time freedom, a better life. Wow. And this lady was in IT, or, her background's in IT. But despite being in IT, she was still looking around for opportunities. And this is what started the conversation, that in 2021, we had more millionaires and billionaires being made because of the opportunities that were around us. So it doesn't mean that the job you're in 9 to 5, you should stay there for life. Those days are gone, guys. Those days are gone. Now you have the opportunity to do several things at the same time, and because you can do loads of research. Now let's start with that point, Sabina. You said that you did lots of research yourself. What kind of research are you talking about?
Well, in terms of property, there's so many different strategies out there. Property is vast. There are people who are doing simple buy-to-lets. Other people are doing HMOs. Some people are doing new strategies of like rent to rent. Other people are doing short-term accommodation developments. There's so many things out there. First and foremost, when people get into property, they need to understand the different strategies out there. They need to understand what's important for them, because everyone got certain skills. Some people, they are technical. Some people are good at people. Some people are really good at managing others. Other people are good at computing, like research and things like that. So you need to understand your own strengths and weaknesses, and then you need to understand what you're passionate about. For me, I'm passionate about wealth building and helping others at the same time. So that's why for me, I had to align my passion and my interest with how I want my future to be. Now, that's the reason you have to understand property, and you have to do the right research in property. Property is something that you need to understand how it works. In the past, it was easy to buy a house. Like in 2004, 2008, before, like in the early 2000s, you could just buy a property and make money from that. Now you can't do that. Now you need to understand the regulations. So it's so important to understand how property can be structured, how the purchase works, how the taxation works. It's so important to understand all of this first. You have to structure it as a business. Before, you could just buy one or two properties. It was so easy to get a mortgage, 100% mortgages. Your interest, you would be able to make money, tons of money from that. Now, if you do it the same way, things will hit you. Regulations will hit you. Licensing rules will hit you. And also government regulations that they've brought in the last 5 years will hit people. That's why it's so important to understand the regulations, the rules. And once you know this, then you can have a plan for property. Once you understand this, and also another very important thing is, property is something that you can't do on your own. Yeah, you need people around you. First of all, you need your experts. For example, you need your mortgage brokers. You will need your solicitors, your accountants. Property is something you can't do. No man is an island. You need people.
Okay, before you jump into the team side, and you were talking about the research. Now, one of the things I've realized is that whenever there's an opportunity, and the opportunity starts to develop wings of its own, all right?
Mhm.
Government regulations step in to start to regulate the market. It regulates the market to control the market and to put certain things in place so that people don't get ripped off. People don't, misunderstand what they need to do. People stick by the rules of the game, all right? So would you say that the regulations and the rules that have come in over the last 5 years have been beneficial to the growth of the property business?
There's a reason these rules are here. I think government is trying to regulate the property industry so that they know exactly what's been happening. And also, it's another way of understanding how many people are investing, and they can manage the taxation better. But the thing is, for each of these regulations, there are ways around it. Once you understand the regulations, then you will be able to understand how to structure it as well to get the best out of it, to optimize.
Well,
Yeah,
okay. So when you say there are ways around it, what you mean there's ways to comply, yes? Let's
that's
make
correct.
that
Yeah,
clear, yes?
yeah, that's
There's
correct.
ways to comply and abide by the rules and
That's
don't
correct.
get caught out. Don't get caught
Yeah,
out by the things that you shouldn't be doing at the time. So
exactly.
if I compared, you said early 2000, it was easy to buy property and start making money compared to now, whereby the regulations are in place. What would you suggest someone to do then if they're starting out into the property game, how long a time should they prepare themselves before they buy their first property?
Um, Now, buying a property, there's lots of things you have to have in place. You need to have your ducks in place before you buy. There's a few things people need to have ready. Um, of course, they will need their capital, they will need time, they will need expertise, they will need strategies, they will need people. They need to have all of that in place. Now, if you're on your own, it's going to take a long time to get all your ducks in place, to get everything ready. But if you work with experts, then you can accelerate that goal. For example, a very simple example, let's say somebody needs a mortgage. In order to get a mortgage, people need a deposit. They need a good credit rating. They need to the age needs to be the right age. You can't be too old as well. You can't be too young as well. And they need to have things in place like a salary in some cases. They need to have a property in place as well that they've placed an offer on. Now, if they don't have the knowledge, the information, it will take a long time. But the minute they have this information, they can get things ready for themselves. They can work on getting all of this ready, and it's quicker for them. So the regulations are there for if you're aware about them, then you can do something about it. If you're not aware of the regulations, if you're not aware about all of that, then you will find that people make mistakes, and this costs them down the road. And also,
Yes.
it delays everything.
And that's a key. Not having the right information at the right time can cost you.
Yeah, at
And
big
when
time.
we talk about costing, we talk about costing you big money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
big
Yeah.
monies. So guys, if you're looking to do something, if you're looking to start building your property portfolio, what Sabina is saying, the first thing you must do is research the market carefully. All right? Not only research the market, but research the location that you're thinking of buying in. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. Location is the fundamental here because each location there's a different strategy. If you look at the buy-to-let market, for example, there are some locations does it work at the moment. Some locations are great for room by room letting, for example, HMOs. Other locations are good for short term lettings. If you have a house by the seaside, that's the ideal for service accommodation. If you're close to like a business park or a big hospital, and so you're ideal for the HMO market. If you're near a university, for example, that's great for student accommodation. So location is the fundamental. And location, another thing is, many people don't realize, especially people from London, that London is another world. London prices are so high, but there are some other areas the prices are not so high. So people need to understand the difference between these
Hey
price
guys,
points.
did you hear that? London is in a world of its own. Yes, it's in a world of its own. It's in a price category of its own. But you don't have to stick to London to invest. You can you can invest anywhere in the country, but you must do your research. Now, one of the things I have seen over the years, especially in London, and you mentioned it just then, but it's the growth of student accommodation. Now, everywhere there's a piece of land in London, everywhere there's a plot, everywhere there's just a cubbyhole of land, what I've seen go up is flats for student accommodation. Why do you think that is so popular in London?
Well, there's so many universities, people are looking for accommodation, but the biggest thing is a psychological thing because students, when they become 18, they want to get their independence. So they want to leave mom and dad's home to get that independence. It's a good thing because as long as people are still with mom and dad, they'll be dependent. So that's one way of them growing. So there's a demand out there for
Hey, do
students.
you hear that? Sabina says, as long as students are with mom and dad, they're dependent. Get them out of the house, guys. Get them out of the house. And the way to get them out of the house is to send them to university. Send them to university, and then they start taking responsibility for themselves. And that's why, as Sabina said, you've seen the growth of student accommodation in London and the growth of accommodation everywhere. Now, so after the research, and you've understood the research, you've understood where you want to buy, and then you talked about you delved into the teams.
Mhm.
All right, let's look at that a bit more. You delved into the teams, and you said it's important to have experts around you from a variety of different areas to feed information in. Let's go through that again. What kind of people do you need around you to build your team, and is it important that they are actually working in the field?
Now, property is a massive thing. Property, you need experts around you. No one can do everything on their own. Um, it depends what strategy you're doing, but you need experts definitely. For example, if you're in the buy-to-let market, you would need somebody to look into getting good mortgages. Now, who has the time to queue up in the bank and fill endless application forms to get a mortgage? Easiest thing to do is to get a regulated independent broker. That's their job. They are regulated to do this, and an independent regulated mortgage broker will be able to search the whole of market for you to get the best mortgages for you. So it releases your time. You just need to tell them the details about yourself, your circumstances, and the property you're buying, and they will do the research for you, get you the best mortgages. So that's one. Then depends what strategy you're doing. You would need more experts. For example, if you are in the buy-to-let market, if you plan to manage your properties yourself, that's fine. But then if you want to release your time, you can get a property manager or an estate manager for you, or lettings manager. This way, they are doing things for you while it releases your time. The thing is, we all can do these things ourselves, but the thing here is delegation. Why would you do it yourself when you can delegate, get somebody else to do it? They're experts at that. They'll do a far better job than us. But then, of course, you have to pay them for that. It's like painting. If you had to paint your house, of course, you can go to IKEA or somewhere else, buy some paint and do it yourself. It will take you lots of time. It will take you lots of effort. You might make some mistakes as well, but you can do it. But it will cost you a lot of time. Simplest thing to do is to get an expert to do it for you. Then it releases you of your time to do the important things. I've learned that it's better for you to focus on the things you're good at. Then you're better strategy for yourself. Get the things that you are not able to do done by an expert. You have to think about your pound per hour. Remember, when you pay somebody to do the job, that's not like lots of pounds per hour, but the time you're wasting, that's a lot of pound per hour. So you're better off getting somebody to delegate, and you're doing the important things only you can do.
Wow, wow, pound per hour. Wow, that is so true. You see, the thing is with pound per hour is that it's not that you can't do the job yourself, but why do the job when you could be out there maximizing your income, maximizing your return, and put someone who knows what they're doing, and they're not gonna make the mistakes that you would make at the same time. So pound per hour, you have to understand how much it's costing you your time to get it done. Am I correct?
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So you talked about strategies, you talked about buy to let, you talked about HMO.
Mhm.
What has been your experience in the market when you first came out? What's been your, let's see, your lowest point of building your portfolio? What has been your lowest point? The most, the what? I wouldn't say the worst thing that's happened to you, but things that did went wrong for you. Because I can't imagine that everything just went great from the beginning. So
Yeah.
what's been your
I wouldn't
experience?
say it went wrong. I would say it was not going as quick as I wanted. That thing is starting out. Starting out is the most difficult thing to do, because when you start out, it's the first time. Let's say it's the first time you're buying an investment property. It's a bit daunting, because it's the first time you're doing. You don't know if you're doing it right. You don't know if you're making mistakes. You don't know if there's certain things you don't know about. So this is daunting. And the first time you do something, it's harder, because first time you talk to a mortgage broker, you don't even know the process. You're learning it as you go. The first time you're getting a solicitor to do your paperwork, you're still not sure what they are doing. The first time you do something is the hardest. and it takes a long time. It might take a long time to get the first property. And not just that, the first time you do something, because you haven't done it yet, you don't have the experience. So not just that you're not sure what you're doing, it's taking a while, and people look at you as a novice as well. So all of these things, it makes your life a little harder in the beginning, but the
So,
second time you buy a property, it gets a bit easier. So
so
that's
are
what
you
I'm
saying that? So are you saying that the first time you do it, even the very people you're working with, they because they see you as a novice, they treat you differently, or are they very helpful?
um for example, your mortgage broker, they will know exactly where you are with your finances. If you're buying the first time, most mortgage brokers are very nice. They never made me feel that I'm new or anything. They are professional. They're very helpful. In fact, if they know I missed some information, they will tell me, oh, you need to check this and that. They're very nice. And it's all, but it's also your personal confidence. Because some people, no matter how much information they have, they will still feel this element of fear. Fear is always inside us. uh, every Some people, they're fearless. They've got a mindset, they're just going to do it. But other people, they still got a element of fear, confidence. I think it's right. It's absolutely right to feel that, because you're doing such a big purchase, such a big transaction. I mean, buying houses is the most expensive thing you buy, right? So it's fine to have this fear, to have this thought that you need to be careful, because you need to make sure you're doing everything right. You're covering all the risks and you're looking into everything. This way, you're sure, yeah, you're paying enough attention, you're doing the right things for you. But everyone has a certain amount of fear inside them that they need to feed. How do you feed your fear? Is by and knowledge again. It's by knowledge, talking to experts, making sure that you're doing the right things, getting confirmation. Another thing as well that feeds your confidence is by having peers. So if somebody's already done property before, just talking to them, just getting an idea from them, getting their opinion, it's important, because sometimes people know things we don't know. So this will make sure that our fears are alleviated and we are building more confidence to do it.
Wow. One of the things that you said to me some time ago, now pre-chat, you said one thing that really helped you a lot was going to conferences.
Mhm.
All right, you talked about going to conferences, and you even got so excited. I could see the excitement in your face when you spoke about going to conferences. Share that information with the public about going to. Why is it important to go to conference and
Yeah.
seminars?
Now, if you look at my background, I was born in UK. I came here like 15 years ago. Now I'm not expert in the market in the UK. I don't know how I didn't know how the UK market works for property. I didn't even have a financial background. I was in IT. So for me, it's important to get the right information. How do you do that? It's by connecting to organizations, seminars, people who are in property already. For example, one of the things that helped me in the beginning was just to attend seminars. We can. We're not doing seminars now because of COVID, but nowadays there's webinars that people can listen to. I even listen to YouTube to understand about how property market works. The best thing is to attend live events where people were teaching about different strategies about property, how different strategies work, how you get started in property. So this is what's helped me, because when you go in these conferences, not only you learn about content expert information, but you also get the chance to meet other people. You get the chance to meet experts as well, because in these events you find property people, you find solicitors there, you find brokers there, you find people who are builders, for example. You find them there. You'll find people who then they are starting out just like myself. When I was starting out, you'll find people who are very seasoned as well. You'll find people there who've been in property for 20 years already. You'll find people who they do different strategies. So it's a matter of connecting with them. So my thing was, when I went to these conferences, I exchanged details. I spoke to people, just to see, to build a rapport first of all, and to see who's doing what. Because let's say you have an interest in something, and you find somebody else who's doing the same strategies as you, or the same location as you. It's great to have that person as a contact, because whenever you have something new you want to do, of course you can discuss with that person, you can get their opinion. This way, two brains is better than one. Um, and they might know things you don't know. For example, they might connect you with somebody to help you on your journey.
Wow.
So yeah, for me, it's important to get this information correct. That's
So,
why, yeah.
well, Sabina is saying, guys, don't try and do it on your own. She's stressing that from the beginning. Don't try and take this journey on your own. Build your network. Collaborate with people. Find people. Where do you find them? At seminars and webinars. Okay, we're not meeting in person, but as soon as we go back in person, don't hesitate to go to a seminar. Make connection with people. Talk to people. Talk to people about their experiences. Talk to people about their challenges. So you said the speed of making it happen was one of your slowest moments, or one of the things that weren't happening as fast. What would you now say was one of the most successful moments of your property building portfolio?
Um, the most successful element is, again, the people's element. Because when you understand a strategy, before you do it, you have to put it on paper. So for me, the best thing is goal setting. Goal setting is so important. You can't just decide, I want to do property investing, and just start doing it. You have to have a plan on paper. You need to have a plan in your mind first of all, and then it has to be on paper. It has to be backed by the current regulations, by the current strategies, current market as well. So that's the biggest thing. And once you've got a goal in place, then you need people to back it up. Now let me explain what I mean. Let's say, for example, you want to build an income of, let's say, 10 grand a month, or you want to build a net worth of 1 million. That's, in theory, your main goal. But how do you achieve that? There's different ways to achieve that. One vehicle to achieve that is via property portfolio. You could buy 5 properties. From there, your net income would net you 10K per month, for just as an example. So then you work backwards. Then you need to say, okay, I need this amount of properties, I need this, and then you work backwards, and then you start working, and then
Let me just jump in there with a disclaimer. Let me just jump in there with a disclaimer right here. Sabina is saying it is possible to build a portfolio that allows you to earn 10K per month, right? It's possible, guys. She's not saying you will. It's possible. So you have to have a good plan in place, good strategies in place, and a good team around you to help you to build that portfolio, but it can be done. Am I right? I'm just putting a disclaimer in there for you.
well, we've seen people, I've seen many people do it, so people have done it before.
People have done it before, and it is still happening. So, do you see the property market, especially in the UK or especially in London, what I call overheating, getting to the point where people can't buy properties anymore? What do you think?
um the thing is, with property, prices have gone up
Yeah,
drastically. um Now the thing is, there's always new things that's coming up. People are being creative with property nowadays. um Before, people just used to do traditional things, just buy a property, rent it out, make money from that. Now people are doing very creative ways of earning via property. Some people are doing businesses via property. Some people are doing management property. Just to give you a simple example, COVID is something that has changed the housing market. Let me give, for example, traveling. People are not able to travel as before. The freedom for travel is not as before. I mean, PCR test and all of these restrictions, lockdowns, red listing, and all of that, and vaccines and all of that. So people can't travel abroad as much. So, but people still need their holidays. So people have started going to the local area now for holidays. That's the reason there's been a boom in the service accommodation. People need to get away from home. get away from work. So there's been people are looking for local holidays. That's why Airbnbs are doing well at the moment.
Wow, you are so
People,
right. You are so right, Sabina. I saw a TV program where they talked about caravans, caravan sites up and down the country, especially up north somewhere. They're experiencing massive booms in the last 24 months because of the inability to travel abroad. Isn't that amazing?
yeah, there you go. Now that's why you have to be prepared, and you need to take advantage of these. So for those property investors, let's say they were doing something else before. When COVID happened, they found the trends, then they should can you see, you just need to pivot and adopt these new investing things, ways of investing. You don't need to buy your own property. You could be doing a business around that, because remember, if you're doing an Airbnb, you need cleaning services, you need linen facilities, you need replenishment, so you could do a business around that. So it's not just by
Wow.
buying a property, but you could do a business around property.
Wow, so there's so many associated services around property that's providing opportunities for people.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, that's amazing, guys. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to be in property yourself. You can just look at the trends. Now, let me go back over this again. The first thing you said is that we must research the market. All right? Research, understand the current trends, understand the regulations, proper research. Yeah? The second thing you said we must do is make goals. Put goals down on paper. Create the goals, put them on paper. And then after you make the goals and put on paper, then look for collaborators. Look for people out there to help you on your journey. Am I right?
Absolutely, you're spot on.
Look for people on your journey to help you on your journey. And then after you start your journey, you're not going to get to 10K per month in the first year. It doesn't work like that, guys. Sabina has been working at this for the past 10 years. All right. So what she has now developed is a knowledge base, an understanding of what to do, an understanding of what not to do. So let me just focus on the what not to do, Sabina, because you've given us a lot of information on what you should be doing. Now give us some things about what the not to do. Not to do. Don't do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell us.
Well, the first thing is don't do it ad hoc and come at it goes. You have to have system in place. Don't do your property by accident, for example. You need to do this consciously. What I mean by that is you need to have systems in place. Whatever strategy you have, you need to have systems in place to make your life easier. For example, if you have a buy-to-let market, you need to have agents who manage it for you. For example, you have systems in place where you know your rent is coming every month. You need to have system in place where you do your income expenses, or you can have an accountant to do that for you. If you have a short-term service accommodation, for example, you need to have, like we said, experts to help you with it. Systems is there to help you make your life easier, maximize your profit, and also show you trends so that you can it can highlight future issues for you. It will also show you potential things you can improve. When you measure something, then you can improve. So not to do is just doing it haphazardly, one day at a time. You need to have a plan in place. You need to do it professionally as a business. Nowadays, you have to think as property as a professional business and treat it as a business. Even though you have one property, even if you have two, even if you haven't started yet, you need to treat it as a business. That's the first thing
Wow.
I would say.
Treat your property portfolio, your property building experience as a business. Even before you start.
Yeah.
Even before you start, treat it as a business and maintain it as a business, and the rewards will be there in property.
Yeah.
So for the next 10 years, next 20 years, do you see yourself growing a massive portfolio?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one, but I'm going to give it my best shot.
In other words, what I'm saying is this a long-term thing?
Yeah,
for you?
absolutely. Property is not something you do in one day and you expect results tomorrow. Property is something you have to do for the long term. Property, when you do it for the long term, then it's much better. The thing is, some people have strategies to build cash. For example, let me give you an example. If somebody does rent to rent, they're building cash flow every month. But if you do that for too long, you won't have any assets for yourself. That's why you need to do rent to rent, and then the income you get from that, you can put it into assets. So you have both now capital and your cash flow. Yeah. So that's why property should be a long term thing. Property should be a lifestyle, actually. You can't just do property one day, tomorrow you forget it. It should be part of your DNA, part of your lifestyle. And then it works. Not just that, then you'll be able to pivot yourself. You'll be able to be flexible based on regulations, and you can adapt to how things are going with the new strategies that's happening as well. So it's a long term thing, absolutely.
Wow. Property is a long-term thing. So you're investing for income, but you're also investing in something that asset appreciation.
That's correct. That's so important because think about it this way: property, it's a lot of things. Some people do property for immediate income. Other people do property for their retirement. Because remember, when you do property well, it's income, and if you do it very well, it's income for life. So that's how you can have a retirement plan associated with property as well. Many people in the UK don't have a good pension. Many people don't have a private pension, so they will be depending on government pension, which is very low. So some people, that's one way of having a better lifestyle for their retirement. For example, if people are leaving their money in the bank, they're not getting any interest at the moment, very, very low interest. So they could use that same money to build themselves a portfolio or just one or two properties and have a better future, better retirement. And property also, people do it because they want to leave a legacy. It's very hard to save money for some people. So by building a property portfolio, that's one way of leaving a nice legacy for future generations to come.
Wow. Wow. It's almost like property, the business of property can tick so many different boxes
Yeah.
in your life. So it's something that's worth considering. It's something that's worth getting involved in. And what you're saying, Sabina, is that you can build for the future. You can
Mhm.
build a legacy. You can build a retirement. Whatever you put your mind to, whatever you want it for, it can happen. But it takes time.
Yeah.
When is the best time to start?
Well, the best time to start was yesterday.
Sabina said the best time to start was yesterday. So apart
Now,
from
the
yesterday,
second,
when is the best time to start?
now because we've missed yesterday,
Yeah,
the second best time is now. No,
it's now.
because if we don't do it, things will get harder in the future. Prices are always going up. And another thing is, there's a saying in property that says, don't wait and buy property. You buy property and wait. Because
Woo!
if you,
Hang on there for me, Sabina. Stop right there. You said don't wait. Guys, before we go any further, let me just jump on and go to the sponsor of the show for 2 minutes before we. You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon. Sabina says, don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait, guys. Don't wait. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. Don't wait till the time gets better. Don't wait. Don't wait. So if you're not in the waiting mode, what is the simplest way to get involved in property? What
um,
is the way that someone could take action in the 30 to 60 days?
well, so don't wait to buy property and wait. Because when you buy property and you wait, the appreciation happens. That's the thing. The property value goes up in value. Now, when people can just start by fixing their mindset. Mindset is such a big thing. If you don't have the right mindset, it won't happen. you need to make sure you have the right mindset first. Yeah, everyone wants to do the best for their families, but they need to have the great mindset for property. They need to make sure they develop themselves personally. They develop their mindset first. Once that's done, then they will see things happening. The second thing is, once they've built their mindset, the right mindset will allow them to put in goals, to set goals, realistic goals. You can't put unrealistic goals. You can't say, oh, I want a £2 million property in 2 months. It won't happen, unless of course you got the big inheritance that you can use. But the thing is, most people, it won't work. People need to have a realistic plan. Then many people, they overthink things. Many people, they overestimate things as well. So you have to have a realistic plan in property based on your current situation. Some people have lots of money, they can get started straight away. Other people, they might not have a capital to start. So for them, they might need like a stepping stone. They might want to do a different strategy to build some income first, or maybe save some money first and then get started. Other people, if they already got something in place like a capital fund, then they can just get the expertise and put in a bit of time and get started. So it depends on where they are and what strategies they want to do as well.
Wow, Sabina, it's amazing talking to you today and gleaning all this information from you about building your property portfolio. And one of the things that's really come home to me today is that there is so much, and you seem to love this side. The personal development side. You have spoken about personal development so intensely today. But in order to do what you want to do in property portfolio building, you have to develop yourself. And has that been something that you have been doing from the start in personal development?
Yes, absolutely. This is the one thing I will attribute my success to, because if you feed your mind with positivity, I don't mean positivity. No, I mean real positivity. Things like confidence, your positive mindset. Our mind, whatever you feed it, it will give you the same thing. If you feed the mind garbage, you will get garbage out of it. If you fill your mind with positive thoughts and
Hey,
success,
you hear that, guys? Garbage in, garbage out. That used to be a thing we talk about. Gigo, garbage in,
yeah,
garbage
that's
out.
right.
So don't feel garbage into your mind. So in terms of building, in terms of developing your mind and developing your personal self, are there any books that you'd recommend that people could read, or any places that you think they should go in particular?
Loads. Uh, in fact, for me, every day I spend at least 15 minutes in the morning just to make sure my mindset is there. The first in the morning, when you wake up, you have a positive mindset, your whole day will go positive. Um, of course, I can recommend lots of books. There's books by Napoleon Hill, Robert Kiyosaki. People can just Google them and find great books about not just mindset but also leadership, and also how to feed your mind. There's one book, it's called Morning Miracles. This book is about how you can do things in the morning to set you up for the day. For example, in the morning, you need to, of course, hydrate yourself, feed your mindset as well. Make sure you do a bit of exercise. And then once you've done this half an hour routine, your whole day, you'll have energy, you'll be able to have a great mindset, you'll be able to think with clarity, you'll be able to do things that you wouldn't normally do. So there's lots of books I can absolutely recommend. So if people go on my Instagram, for example, there's a list of books they can get from there as well. Definitely
Yes.
feed their mindset.
And if you want to go on Instagram to find this lady, she calls herself Top Financial Coach on Instagram. All right. So go find her on Instagram, man. Top Financial Coach. Go and glean some of the information. Go and glean some of the knowledge that she has developed over the past 10 years to get her to where she is today, developing her portfolio and building herself and constantly making things happen. Because as you said, it's everyday thing you've got to do. Sabina, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been a pleasure hearing the excitement that you still, after 10 years, you're still so excited about your property building and developing yourself. So what is it? Give me 3 things that you'd want to tell the audience today? There's 3 things that you deem important that they should be doing right now as an individual to help them in their property building.
Okay. The first thing is mindset. Always the mindset. Like we said, if you feed your mind with great things, you will get the results. Yeah, it's like a tree. The root determines the fruits. Yeah, when you feed yourself all these positive vibes, you set yourself for success, you will get success. It will take time. It takes time to materialize, but it will happen. That's the first thing. So people need to work on their mindset every day if they can. The world is so filled with negative. Sometimes you have to block these voices out and then focus on yourself. What's important is you, your family, your goals, your future. That's the first thing, mindset. The second thing I would say is believe in yourself. I would tell people to believe in themselves. It's not easy to be on a journey of business or property. It's not easy to get started. It's not easy to go on as well. But if you keep going, if you believe in yourself, you will find ways around. You'll find ways to get over the challenges you might be having, or of course you'll be able to get started as well. The second thing is believe in yourself, and the third thing I would say is get experts to guide you on this journey. Experts is there because they've got experience. They might have made mistakes that they will let you know about. They will tell you the right things to do as well. So that is the third thing is people. Now, saying that, be careful. There are people out there, scams and all of that happening. So you need to make sure you're getting information from the right source as well.
Wow, that's like a whirlwind, Sabina. That is like a whirlwind. Sabina says, I should have guessed this, Sabina. I should have guessed you'd have gone there again. Mindset. Sabina says mindset. Number 1, top priority, mindset. You can't make this without the right mindset, guys. It will break if you don't have the right mindset. Number 2, believe in yourself. Hey, that's a sermon in itself, Sabina. Believe in yourself. You've got to believe in what you're doing. You've got to believe, because in the dark moments of when you're on your own, you've got to know that you know what you know to keep you going. And the third thing is about people, getting the right people around you, getting the experts around you, getting peers around you, getting people to support you. Sabina, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. And what do you think 2022 is going to be like? I mean, it's hard to think about, the next 12 months ahead. No one can predict what's going to happen. But you're someone who looks at the current trends. What do you think 2022 is going to be like?
Well, in the last 2 years, the world has changed. We need to make it work for us. We need to be careful because, health is health. We need to be careful, take the precautions and everything as normal. But the thing is, do this, but at the same time, work on yourself so that you can grow, not just personally, but your financial life. Because when you work on yourself, everything else grows. Your financial life, your relationship around yourself will be better. Your family life will be better. You'll have better time for yourself as well. So when you develop yourself personally, internally, you'll find that everything around you will grow.
Woo! Whoa! I was going to ask you for one sentence, and you just gave that one sentence. Work on yourself. Work on yourself and everything around you will grow. Work on yourself and everything around you will grow. Sabina, I thank you so much for being on the show today. That is a word. That is a word, Sabina. Work on yourself and everything will grow. It will grow. Your income will grow. Your business will grow. But you have to start working on yourself. Sabina, thank you for tuning to the Message Talk Show. Find Sabina on Instagram. Go and find her on Instagram. Top financial coach. Yes, she's a top financial coach on Instagram. Sabina, I look forward to talking to you again because this is an amazing show and you have just made it an amazing day on the Message Talk Show with host Alex Gordon. See you again on Thursday.
Thank you.
miss the show, you got to be on the show.